Namaskar and welcome to episode 4 of Artist Khabre Azam. Today's talk show, we will talk about education because we have with us two of India's eminent educators in music and performing arts. Firstly, Neecia Majolly, ma'am. Ma'am, welcome to the show. I am one of your biggest fans. You are India's one of India's foremost and leading ambassadors of Western classical music, and you have released India's first Western classical piano album, Pure Spa Gold Coast, through Universal Music in 2012. And we also have today Prabhakar Sharma, sir. Hello, sir. Welcome to the show. And he is a multi instrumentalist. He is trained both in Indian classical music and in Western classical music. And he plays almost 15 instruments and maybe more. We'll begin today's discussion with a bit serious issue as we see in India, a country with more problems than solutions. Glad to get to know all of you great teachers who are doing a fantastic work at educating young minds, definitely in music and performing arts. And Neecia Majolly, ma'am, firstly, I would like to say that getting to know you, you are a Western classical and alternative rock musician whose songs have won awards in the Hollywood. They have generated awareness about the grave concerns from ivory poaching in Africa to inspiring people to stand up for their rights. Right now, India is grappling with the grave issue of student suicides of any ET aspirants, and prominent educator and scientist Sonam Wangchuk is losing health on his hunger strike, protesting, asking the government for accountability. As an educator, ma'am, when you see lack of government accountability in matters of students' lives, how do you feel?
Yeah, what you mentioned earlier was just that it's lack of accountability. And I think a lack of a sense of shame, to be very honest, because there are many other countries that I know of where if a high ranking official is caught in a scandal or a serious issue of any sort, they will be, they themselves will resign. They hold a press conference and, they apologize for their mistake and they resign. This has happened more than once. I've seen it even on TV as I was even when I was a child. And just to clarify here, my childhood was not here in India, so we had a different kind of world news broadcasting where I was born and brought up, which is in Pune. So they focused a lot on world news, and we used to keep seeing these incidents where whoever in high-ranking posts who were caught in something that was not befitting of their posts, they would, especially like in Japan, there was one minister I remember, he bowed at a complete 90-degree angle, and that's a way of apology. And he said he was, very sorry about what he had done, and he resigned. He's not the only person I've seen on TV do this. There are other countries where these things have happened as well. And I think, it's unfortunate that here, these officials think that they can basically do whatever they want and get away with it. And I think that's the main thing that's got to change. Basically, it's accountability.
Yes, absolutely. And well said. And thank you for sharing your experiences. Prabhakar sir, as we understand, as educators, it's a big responsibility to inspire young minds. And I'm aware that you have shifted your career from engineering to being a music teacher. So I think it took a lot of courage. Please tell us your inspiring moment when you decided to take this responsibility on your shoulders.
Um, as I say, music is divine thing, and I think I believe in this thing. If we don't choose music, music choose us. So it matters when I completed my engineering and I joined as a chemical engineer in Mumbai 2001. After 6 months, I realized that I am not meant for this. Then I came back to my hometown, Nagda, and my elder brother, he suggested, because I was little upset during that day. My brother said, why don't you teach music? Because you play many instruments. Let's start with me. Because I am just, I was looking at the option.
How did you meet with Prabhakar sir? And going by your musical excellence, as we all know, you learned your keyboard lessons from him.
Prabhakar sir's father was my father's friend. बेसिकली दे
Okay.
नो ईच अदर. और मेरा और सर का घर बहुत ज्यादा दूर नहीं है, मतलब अभी भी जो उनका रेसिडेंस है नागदा में, मेरे घर से बहुत ज्यादा दूर नहीं है. So actually, when my father came to know that Prabhakar is there and who is teaching music instrument, and I was also keen to learn keyboard. My father has given me a keyboard on my birthday. It's a very small
Hmm.
keyboard, SA75, which is of Casio series, which is still popular. SA21, sorry, SA25. So then we, like my father and like my mother also decided that send him for the music classes. तो वहाँ पे फिर क्योंकि पहचान के थे, सो इट वाज वेरी नियर टू माय हाउस, सो जस्ट फॉर लर्निंग एंड लाइक की प्लेसिंग टेक्निक्स और ऐसे चीजें सीखने के लिए उन्होंने मुझे प्रभाकर सर के पास भेजा. सो आई मेट हिम
Okay.
एंड दैट टाइम आई वाज इन क्लास 4th.
Okay.
आई
So
वुड
this
से
time,
9.
okay. So this was the time you are already ongoing with your Indian classical singing lessons, right? That's awesome. Thanks to your parents. Yeah. Amazing. Neecia ma'am, so you have been featured in prestigious magazines like the Rolling Stone India, Femina, and news about the Majolly Music Trust feature often in national dailies in India. When, as a Western classical musician, you collaborated with Manoj George. In fact,
Okay, so actually, Manoj and I have been friends for a very long time because when I first came to Bangalore, that was when I met him. And in fact, he was preparing for his licentiate diploma exam in violin. And I
mhm.
actually was his accompanist for the exam.
Wow.
So we have
Okay.
known each other for a very long time. And of course, he's gone on to produce so many albums and been performing all over the world. So one day he just called me, it's like, I've written this piece for violin and piano, and it's, kind of Western classical influence. So why don't you play on it? I said, okay, fine. So that's how that happened. With Supriya, basically, I know a very intellectual and musical person called Ramakrishna, who is right now the assistant editor of Deccan Herald, which is, of course, one of South India's leading newspapers. And at that time, he was putting together this project called the Vanchana Project, where he
Hmm.
wanted to present old poems, Kannada poems,
Mhm.
with a touch of Western. So we got together, we created a group, and Supriya happened to be the main singer for this,
Mhm. Hmm.
and even Mr. Ramakrishna also sang on it. and he explained all the poems to the audience. And basically, I got a few of my choir members together, and we added a Western classical touch to the whole project. So that was how it happened.
Fantastic. I ask these questions just to get to know this, how, different musicians come together, what do they discuss and produce such beautiful music. So yeah. So and all the funds they were taken care of. You were paid by them.
You were mentioning about the funds. Yeah. So basically, for Manoj and I, it was just a simple like audio and video recording, which he paid for. And of course, with the Vachana band, I think it was Mr. Ramakrishna who took care of the funds for that.
Please tell us.
After my engineering and spending 1 year, around 1 year time without music, then I realized, I'm not meant for this. Then, then I realized, then I joined a small setup of part-time music teaching after engineering. But the happiness meter was bigger than before because I was in different instruments and the students of
True.
the young students music all the time, the other music expert teachers. Then I have learned a lot from the other teachers also. Then the
Hmm.
journey started, and then I did my master in Indian classical. And
Hmm.
after 4 years in school music teaching, then I joined the Ambani's. But before Ambani's school, teaching was not my passion. Yeah, I'm talking just about 2006 and 7. I was fed
Okay.
up with teaching 2001 to 7. Then I I thought let's start music direction and all. Create something. I want to become a composer, like music director. So with Abhishek and all other friends, we have created many albums also in our childhood. He knows his father was the greatest, inspiration for us to make a happy band, and we did a lot. But journey after 1 and 2 years, after 2006, 7, 8, 2 years I gave for myself for struggle, composing music and creation, singing. Then I joined Ambani's school. Ambani just given he published one appointment like a faculty for music teacher, instrumental music teacher who knows two or three instruments. The flute and piano and tabla I was teaching from childhood. Then I started guitar and other instrument as per the role. My wife is also a singer and she is also
Okay.
working with the same team. She is a vocalist.
Wow.
I'm instrumental music, and we both are working from 17 years in the school.
Great.
And now, for last year, I stopped teaching. I'm completely into events and all.
Okay.
I'm head of events and performances. So I design all the performances as per Mrs. Ambani's
Fantastic.
and the family's best and all.
Hmm.
But you see, even in Western classical music, the styles of Western classical music also differ depending on what era it was written. Because as far as written Western classical music goes, I mean, of course, it originated in Greece, but we don't have that many records of that. Okay, so depending on whether the music is from the Gothic era, the Middle Ages, the Renaissance, the Baroque, the classical, the romantic, or 20th century and contemporary, uh, the styles differ even within Western classical music. Okay. Hello.
If you're singing, like if you are producing some melody, right? That Indian music more emphasizes Indian melodic structure. But when we add and we work like with the harmony and chords and some different bass and all, it comes with the Western thing. आपने देखा होगा you have seen many ragas we have in Indian classical. Ragas are only for as a sequence of notes, an ascending and descending way, and depending upon some moods like evening, morning, and night, and some season like winter, rainy. This sequence of different notes creates a melody, and we improvise that melody. That is raga. That is Indian music. So Indian music basically आपको एक melodic structure देता है, लेकिन वेस्टर्न म्यूजिक एक ऑर्केस्ट्रा देता है, उस मेलेडी को सजा सकते हैं, You can have a lot of options and counter melody with the main melody. So basic
Got it.
difference is harmony and melody.
The idea of launching Femusica was actually to showcase music by women composers, which has been quite neglected. Actually, through the ages, there have been women composers who have been composing, but we don't really hear much about them because they've not been given, I think, the due importance. But fortunately, these days we are getting to know more and more about women composers. So I wanted to showcase compositions by women composers, including myself. And this is one of the reasons why the choir was formed. And it was also a choir which was comprised of only women because it's a different space for them. And we had quite a few successful concerts. Right now, it's not functioning at as yet because we have this movement of choir members going in and out. So unless I have a good group of singers, I will not restart the project. But the point was to showcase music by women composers. That was the main idea.
You are the torch bearer of all these things that we should, like, everybody should do in India, but only Neecia Majolly is doing it. Rate your favorite animal: cat, dog, bird, squirrel, first to last. The first one, your most favorite one.
Exactly the order that you said it. We
Abhishek,
have
you
five
tell.
cats at the moment.
Squirrel. Second one will be bird. Third will be dog, and fourth will be cat.
Watching Chinese dramas to improve my Mandarin because I'm learning Mandarin and Japanese right now. Well, to my mind, I think there's one person I'll definitely would want to collaborate with, and that's Karl Luchmeyer.
He is very clean-hearted person from childhood. I saw him always, and his nickname is Golu, and he's so lovely, and he's whenever he learns something, quietly absorb first. So the main quality is absorbing. The way he absorbs the music, that is phenomenal. I always see respect for his Gurujan, his master. Always I admire a lot.
Okay, so my students know very well that I love dark chocolate. So I get that
Yeah.
as gifts a lot. But I can never say that any gift is useless because it comes from their heart. So
True.
I can't
Yeah.
say that any gift is useless. Actually, I've been teaching for a very long time. In fact, last month, it's been 40 years of being in the music education field.
Hmm.
So I will mention some of the students that I have taught earlier who are doing really, really well because now it's, a new batch. It's like new batches every time. One of them is his name is Johnson. So he used to travel all the way from Coimbatore to have vocal and piano lessons with me, and he's always been interested in performance and education. And so he continued his further studies and graduated from Trinity Laban, and he's now teaching in the UK after teaching in some schools here in India. So he's always wanted to go to the UK, so he made it. And another student of mine, also a lovely young lady. So her name is Varsha Sastri, and a fine performer and a fine educator. She was teaching with us also for a while. She's got her own school now here in Bangalore, and she's doing very, very well because her level of expertise, she has quite some depth in her knowledge of Western classical music. So she, carries that on over to her students. And then I also have another student by the name of Ravi Kashyap. He was my student for 14 years, and right from almost when I first came to Bangalore. So he, of course, understood that he couldn't be a performer because of nerves too much, but he turned out to be a fine educator, and he's also got his very successful school here in Bangalore. He's doing very, very well. And there is one person I'd like to mention as well, a young girl. So she did her music theater lessons with me. She's very good at it. And she went to the US to do some fancy degree at Princeton. I can't remember what it's called. But she also wanted to do music theater. And Princeton has a very, very prestigious music theater company of which she was part of. And she finally got a lead role in one of the musicals as well. And they perform all over the US. So she's doing extremely well there. Though it's not her major subject, but she's doing really, really well. Yeah. There are many others.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
very proud
sure.
of all of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
These are students who've really worked hard and had a goal.
Thing. One student is sitting here, Abhishek, and I'm very proud of him. He is doing great job in music, and he enjoys music. I think not anyone's statement, but my statement says if your students enjoying music in the life, भले ही वो पैसा कमा रहा है नहीं जा रहा है लेकिन म्यूजिक से उसकी आत्मा को तृप्ति मिल रही है, that means you have done best music teaching job.
For me, it just depends on what strikes me at that particular moment. Um, of course, I mean, if I have a melody given to me, I can certainly do something with it, but I actually do not use all this music production softwares and stuff like that. I compose on the piano and actually write it down on manuscript. And then I get somebody who's good with these notation softwares to notate it for me because I'm very poor with these things.
Sorry,
I do things
hello.
the old
Sorry for
fashioned way.
interrupting.
So I've
Uh,
done music for choir, I've done piano music, I've done for a chamber ensemble, I've done for like violin piano, voice piano, that kind of thing. I have been asked long time ago, why don't you compose for movies and stuff like that? I was never interested. Yeah, for me, like I like to take, I like to work with poetry. One of my compositions that won a classical music award was based on haiku. That's Japanese poetry. So that was for voice and piano. And I've also composed on ancient Indian poetry also. So my interest is quite different from doing, scoring and basically movie scoring or film scoring or arrangements. That's really
oh,
not my interest.
Neecia ma'am is a celebrity vocal coach, so she has been invited by movie production companies to train the heroines with the vocal coaching thing. Like movies have been released, so she is a great vocal coach as well. Yeah,
Not heroines, not heroines, playback singers.
playback singers. Yeah,
Not
sorry. Neecia ma'am has very niche expertise, and I think in the Western classical industry, they know how to tap her talent.
mostly teaching, because the issue with Western classical music is as we don't have too many performances lined up for us. And it's difficult to be a Western classical performer in this country. So we don't really have that many opportunities, and it doesn't really pay well. So I think most of us resort to teaching to be able to earn a fairly stable source of income.
Okay, great.
I mean,
And just
performances come, but they are few and far between.
yeah, and this is primarily an India country problem, right, ma'am?
I agree.
Yeah,
Because obviously, I mean, India has a very strong classical tradition of its own. So obviously, that is the priority. And of course, film music is extremely popular. So Western classical music is a little bit on the niche side, So first of all, the group is small and the audience is not as large as we would like it to be. So we try our own ways.
yeah. No, that is a very polite way of saying it. But yes, in fact, that's why thanks to all the initiatives that you are taking with your choir music events, with FEMusica, you are like enriching the community so that we can have more concerts. In fact, I myself, I am guilty. I have never attended a Western classical concert in my life, and I am already 40 years old. So I must buy a ticket very soon to your concert. Thank you, Prabhakar sir. Thank you, Abhishek.
bye bye. Bye
Yeah.
bye. Thank you so much.
Bye
Yes.
bye.
Thank you. Bye.